everyone, and welcome to the Dakota Fundraising News Podcast. Today is Friday, January 24th. Yesterday, we mentioned the Dakota research launch that we're very excited about. On the 23rd, today as we're recording this, we've just wrapped up the Dakota research launch webinar. We'll have the replay tomorrow. If you sit in a research, due diligence, or asset allocation seat, you really are going to want to see this. It's really powerful what we're launching and bringing to market. Feedback has been unbelievable so far, so we're stoked on it.
If this is anybody's first time listening, give us a quick, 10, 15 seconds on what that entails.
At a high level, I mean, just since, 2006 and since 2010, there's just been an explosion in the amount of private fund data that is accessible out there, anywhere from, 30 to 60 new funds launching at any given moment and any month. So what we've just done is, in a really unique way, organized all of the, overwhelming amount of private fund data that's out there, and have created some pretty cool workflow tools to let asset allocators do their due diligence a little bit easier, save time, and ultimately save money, which is time at the end of the day. Speaking of time is money, though, let's roll through this. Let's jump into job changes. Konch, why don't you kick off, and then I'll wrap up with the London one.
Yeah, of course. Starting out over in New York, new addition to the NYU investment office, Jeffrey Chang has been hired there as their managing director of investments. This was announced pretty recently on LinkedIn. We also have Kingswood US, an independent wealth management firm with $15 billion in client assets. They have appointed Scott Poor as their new CIO of Kingswood Wealth Advisors. And then Bain Capital has promoted a London-based partner to co-head of their European private equity business. This is according to a Bloomberg report. Ivano Sessa has been with Bain Capital for over 2 years, and they'll work with Stuart Gent in this new role.
Yeah, over 2 decades. Just a little correction there. Rolling right along, we'll stick with the London theme, though. Jenny Buck has been named the new CIO of the London LGPS pension. That is very exciting, based out of, no doubt, London, with $63 billion under management.
Nice. We'll just keep it moving, I guess, a little bit faster today, but no worries. As far as our RIA segment here, we'll start off with Klingman and Associates. They have added a wealth advisor based out in New York City from UBS. This is going to be Lizzie DiCarlo joining from UBS. This is according to her LinkedIn. She spent a little over 8 years previously as SVP at UBS.
Yeah, and then on the LPL side, they have picked up a team from Kestra that is a $385 million team in Metro Atlanta, right outside of Atlanta in Alpharetta. Actually, the opportunity to spend some time in Alpharetta recently. Really cool coffee shop that I went to. I'm not sure what it was called, but if anyone's going down there, reach out. I can check my notes on my phone. But they have picked up, like I said, $385 million from Kestra Financial, and that is a team called Johns Creek Financial. Very exciting new addition for the Southeast divisions of LPL.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, we were talking Dakota Research at the top regarding private funds, the explosion there. So have some updates regarding a real estate search here and some asset allocations, increasing targets to private equity and things like that here that we'll touch on. This and other segments on the podcast here, you'll learn we'll just go in a lot more depth in Dakota Research and on the podcast that you guys are running. But staying on topic here, the real estate debt search update coming out of Boston, the Massachusetts Water Resources Authority retirement system, about $730 million in plan assets. They use NEPC. Finalists for this search are going to include, or maybe not finalists, but candidates that they reviewed have included Acor Capital, Bridge Debt Strategies Fund 5, PCCP Credit Fund 11, RRA Capital, that's their real estate fund 3, and then BGO and their U.S. Value Add Lending Fund. So once we learn a little bit more about where they're going as far as finalists and winners of that search, we will of course provide that update.
Yeah, and then in Austin, Austin City Employees Retirement System, $3 billion under management, using Makita as their consultant. They have proposed some allocation changes. They're going to decrease their allocation to public equity by 8%, in keeping with the theme of the growing private fund world. They'll be increasing their private equity allocation by that 8%.
Yeah, it looks like, if that's right, then it looks like they didn't have a target to private equity previously. So exciting move there. We'll see where they allocate to.
Yeah.
In the same vein, Tulare County Employees Retirement, based out in LA, $2 billion in assets. They use Veris. They also approved a new change to their target asset allocation. This is increasing their real assets bucket by 1%. Real estate debt is going to be increased by 2%. Core real estate down by 1%. And then non-public investments, they're increasing that bucket by 2%. As a result here, traditional fixed income decreasing by about 3% there. So overall increasing their targets to real assets there.
Yeah, on the investment side, just keeping track of fund flows. We'll talk a little about Merced County Employees Retirement in Metro San Francisco. They have made an allocation to GTCR for their Strategic Growth Fund. It's a private equity, growth equity fund. It's a $6 million allocation. So for those who are out there looking for smaller checks from the institutional space, that could be a good target for you. Texas County, very large allocation here, so quite the opposite, but they've committed to Ares European Credit Fund 10. That is a direct lending strategy, and that is a $150 million allocation. And then finally, Oregon Public Employees Retirement Fund in Portland. They have made some commitments to both traditional equities with MFS on their International Equity Fund, $300 million. Lazard also with their International Growth Fund, another $300 million. And then they did make a private equity co-invest opportunity happen with EQT. That's on their co-invest platform, and that was a $50 million co-invest.
I will wrap us up with these last two fundraising updates here, Pat, and then anything you have, I'll let you close us off. But
yep.
Thoma Bravo, firm everyone's familiar with, they've closed their third credit fund with $3.6 billion in total commitments. This was according to a January 21st news release. This is their largest private credit capital raise to date. We've talked a ton about private credit last year, so that lines up. And then secondly here, Klein Hill Partners, they are aiming to raise $300 million for their latest private equity secondary funds. I know we've talked about secondaries in recent podcasts as well. They're raising money for KHC Partners Fund 2. At the target amount, the fund would surpass more than double the about $104 million target of their predecessor fund.
Yeah, that's very exciting for that second vintage. Clearly, I'm sure they're getting a lot of institutional attention now with that new size. That's going to wrap it up for today. Like we said, quicker one today. A lot going on here with the launch of Dakota Research, so you'll have a ton more content from both of us coming soon, no doubt. One quick just housekeeping item. We mentioned, last month earlier this month, that we had to postpone the LA Dakota cocktails due to all the fires and that, horrific disaster that's been happening. We had scheduled it for February 4th. We have postponed that again. Still just felt too soon for such an event that's about, celebrating the community. So I want to make sure we're being mindful. We will be donating and volunteering pretty aggressively to the community, and we were looking to reschedule for April. So we'll keep everyone on the West Coast tuned in. In the meantime, any of our other events, you can check out Dakota Cocktails. You can just Google that and it'll get you there, or dakota.com/cocktails.
Nice.
Thanks everyone for listening in. Enjoy Miami next week for all of the folks listening in. Obviously, big week of conferences down there. Safe travels. Have a great weekend. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys.
This episode is brought to you by Dakota Marketplace. Are you tired of constantly jumping between multiple databases and channels to find the right investment opportunities? Introducing Dakota Marketplace, the comprehensive institutional and intermediary database built by fundraisers for fundraisers. With Dakota Marketplace, you'll have access to all channels and asset classes in one place, saving you time and streamlining your fundraising process. Say goodbye to the frustration of searching through multiple databases, websites, Form ADVs, and say hello to a seamless and efficient fundraising experience. Sign up now and see the difference Dakota Marketplace can make for you. Visit dakota.com/Dakota-Marketplace today.